Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I am so excited. I am talking with Rachel Mayer today. She has an amazing business. I'm really excited to kind of dive in and hear more about what she does. But she is the owner of Pure Essentials. They have a skincare line. They make obviously essential oils. So when she first reached out to me, folks, I actually thought she was one of those ladies that does like essential oils in one of these direct sales companies, which is very cool. But then when she told me that she actually is the creator of this company, I was extra excited just to kind of hear how did that happen. To me, that's such an interesting thing to start, and definitely a whole new business process for me to learn about. So the reason I'm doing this video this week is honestly just to try and pour support and love into local Canadian businesses, because it's been a bumpy ride for us all lately, but it's definitely bumpy for business owners specifically because so many of us have been shut down, unable to operate. So we are just trying to pour some love into them and get them some extra recognition. So welcome, Rachel. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So thank you so much. Kudos to you, because, a lot of people feel a little bit nervous to come on here live and do this, but I definitely think it's something that provides value. Hopefully people are going to learn something today. So I'm just opening up my phone so I can kind of try and see who's joining us as we do this. So I'm going to get that lined up. Bear with me. Some people are still joining in, which is awesome to see. I love it. It's been an adventure doing this every day this week. It's been awesome. I love it so much. Get my volume turned down, but we're learning. I'm learning. We're all learning in this COVID situation, right?
It's always something new to learn when you have a business and you're trying to help other businesses, and there's always something new.
There is. I've been told you're either growing or dying.
Yeah. Not right now.
So we're growing right now. All right. So tell me, you are creator of these product line. How the heck did you even come into this? How did that start?
It was totally by accident. A lot of people that have similar businesses, they've been herbalists or they've had some sort of trainer. They've been into this forever. That wasn't the case with me. I actually had spent 6 weeks in Costa Rica with my kids. I had gone through a really bad breakup. My grandpa, who I was really close to, passed away. And so I just needed to get away. And if you've ever been to Costa Rica, it is the most magical place in the whole world. And so while I was there, I was just meeting all these really interesting people that had different health and wellness businesses. I actually remember going to a farmer's market there, and a lady made her own bug repellent. And I looked at him like, this is so cool. I'm like, I could never make something like that. Like, how do you even learn how to do this?
Right.
And so I came home from Costa Rica, and I had talked to a friend about this idea I had for a health and wellness business that was focused on mind, body, and spirit. And she was a nutritionist, a personal trainer, yoga trainer. And she's like, I've always wanted to do that. And so we had a meeting. We started a business. It was originally called Pure Living Enthusiast. And our whole business plan was just coaching people on different, just all different things to do with health and wellness. And one of the things that we were really drawn to was the idea of getting chemicals out of your home and replacing those with healthier products. Is there's so many things that are hidden in what we use every day that you don't even realize, and they don't have to be listed on the labels. And so we started these workshops. We would do, it was kind of like a DIY workshop, and we would give samples of the things we would demonstrate on how to make. So we did like a deodorant, a super easy sunscreen. We did some cleaning stuff for people then too. And so then we'd give samples at the end of the workshops. And then people were like, well, these are really great, and I don't have the time to make it. So can we just buy the products from you?
Yeah.
So it just, from there, it just snowballed into now having a full facial line, muscle bomb. Originally, I didn't want to sell the essential oils. I was not interested in that. And then that just happened over time. And now one of my most favorite things that I probably make besides my skincare is creating new blends and coming up with new stuff. And that's it. Now here I am.
That's so amazing. I mean, exactly. To go from how the heck would someone learn how to do that to having a company that does that.
Yeah.
Is pretty amazing in itself, right? I mean, so many of us have ideas sometimes, but we never take the time or have the confidence to dive in and do it, right?
Yeah, and it just kind of, you know, it would start with little things and you'd find a recipe online, and then over time we just perfect it and more research. And now I'm like, how did I not know how to do this before? So.
That's awesome. I mean, you know, I think it's a testament to your own faith in yourself, your confidence, but also so many of us do have ideas or do think that, hey, we should do this, but we don't know how to figure it out. And now there's so many things you can learn online. Probably anything you wanted to do for a business, you could learn how to do it online if you put yourself into it.
100%.
But again, lots of people don't do it for whatever reason. We're busy. Oh, I couldn't know how to do that. I feel shy. I don't feel good about it, whatever it is. So I think it's a really cool story to learn and allow yourself to learn, and then allow yourself to take that step. It's really awesome. So hopefully some other folks that maybe have an idea are getting inspired right now, right?
Yeah. And you know, I think the big thing too in the beginning was I'd never followed my intuition on like little ideas that I did have like that before. And I did say, oh, it's too hard, or I'm too old, or I have 2 kids. And I was a single mom when I started this business, and I was working other jobs. And I also had a cleaning business then. So I was cleaning offices and carrying my babies with me to clean offices, and then trying to do this job and get this started. But for me, I guess I thought, you know, my boys were so young. I didn't want them growing up thinking, oh, well, I guess making excuses. Oh, well, life's too tough, or mom was a single mom, so she couldn't follow her dreams. She couldn't do those things. I wanted them to see that no matter what your life is, you always have a choice to do something more with it, or it's never too late to do what you want to do. So that was for me.
So much, right? I interviewed a gal this week, and she, you know, she's like maybe my age or a little bit older. She's got some grown kids and grandkids, and she invested in herself to start her pedicure business. And, you know, she's great. Sweet Feet, I think I'm getting it wrong. I'll post a link again, or if you go a couple videos back, folks, it's there. She does wonderful sounding pedicures in Fort McMurray, but it was investing in herself. Even though she has grown kids, she's still trying to find her thing, and she seems like she's really found it now. So it is never too late to try something new, right? Even if you're 80 years old, it's never too late to be fulfilled in your life, right? And also, you know, what I heard you say is you were working other jobs, you had a cleaning business, and yet still you felt like, hey, even though I'm very busy, I still want to find time for this because I feel like it's a priority. And so many times I speak to people in my business where we're expanding and looking for people all the time that are hardworking and want an opportunity. And they'll say things like that. Oh, well, I can't because I'm busy. I can't because I have kids. I can't because all of these things. And it's at some point, it's like, when are you going to put yourself first and give yourself a shot, right?
And what's important too, I think, you know, there's lots of things I make excuses for that too. Like I love to paint and I like to do crafts and stuff. And I was like, oh, I don't have time. If I really wanted it to be a priority, I would make the time. Like I've made the time for my business, or, you know, in the last year, I've really been focusing on like more like working out more and to help, you know, mental health. And so every morning I get up at 6:30 and I make a point, even when I don't want to, of doing a workout, because it is important to, that has become something that's important to me too. So I guess you just have to decide what is important. And once you decide that, it is a little easier to take those steps or those jumps you want to do.
Yeah, it gets easier. And it might not be starting a business. Like not everyone wants to have a business, but maybe it is, like you said, working out, or maybe it is doing crafts, right? We all
Yeah.
have the same 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
Some people need less sleep than others. I'm a person that needs lots of sleep. So when I hear these people that are like 5 a.m. club and stuff, I'm like, oh, I'd have to go to bed at like 7. That's not going to work. But at the same time,
Yeah.
yeah, trying to create that discipline with myself. That's been something for me in 2020 has been a real theme. Two things is trying to become comfortable being uncomfortable. So I've been doing a lot of stuff like this, right? And trying to just put myself out there because it feels uncomfortable at first, but then also creating so much more discipline within my day because I want to get those things that are important done and accomplished, and they're important and they deserve my attention, and life can just go away. And my daughter just had her 7th birthday, and that just goes so fast. She's my youngest and she's 7. Like, how the heck did that happen? But then next thing, she's going to be 14, and then she's going to be an adult and not even talking to me anymore, right? So
in June, so I get it. And my oldest turns 11 in just over 2 weeks. So I'm like, 3 years till I have one that's driving, and my goodness.
It is like, it's cool as a parent to see them grow up, and it's also very disturbing. So tell me, when you start this business, like you're doing like deodorant and bug spray and like things that go on your skin, I'm guessing there's some regulations that you have to meet. Like, how does that work?
Yeah, it's a lot different than food, I guess, regulations, but there's still some, like you have to have all your products registered with Health Canada. I can't technically make health claims, so I'm not actually allowed to call my bug repellent a bug repellent or my sunscreen. So you have to get kind of crafty with.
What do you call it?
So my bug repellent's called Forest Fun.
Okay.
My sunscreen's called Beach Balm. So you can hint at those things. You can say that they act like an SPF, etc. But to be able to get certification to sell it as specifically a bug repellent or a sunscreen, you actually have to get an NPN number, which gets it's a lot more money to do that. It's a lot stricter. So there's all kinds of things. But for the most part, we just make sure your space is sanitary. You have to list, like labeling is a really big thing. So your labels have to say everything that's in there. So when you register with Health Canada, like in a couple of my face care products, I use colloidal silver. And so you can only use X amount of that product in another product. And then you have to have a special claim on your label that says that that's in there. So there's just things. And that was honestly all like kind of trial and error. I had a cousin that worked with Lush.
Oh.
And she was actually responsible for doing labeling, Health Canada, like registrations, all of that. So it really worked out. She really walked me through a lot of that. So right from the very first product we made, we kind of knew what we had to do and what we were in for. So that stuff's pretty straightforward.
That was a score.
Yeah.
Your cousin.
Yeah, I think it would have been a lot harder. We also had one, when we first started, we were like pounding the pavement. We're like, we want everybody to wholesale for us. Everyone's going to love our stuff. And we were making it in mason jars. It was not like store shelf worthy at all. But we had this really lovely lady who supported us right from the beginning. And she was the one who actually told us about the sunscreen and the bug repellents, and just like the claims you can make. And so every kind of turn we took where there should have been a challenge for us was like we were being led to the answers before we even needed them, which has always been really awesome with it, I found. So
isn't it cool? It's a testimony to, sometimes people think like when you're in business that it's very competitive and, people don't want to help each other. And I'm sure there's some of that too, but I always found that successful business people want to help other people that are trying, right? they want to help you avoid the mistakes, or they want to connect you to the people that you might get the answers that you need from. And, testimony to networking. You never know, that person that you met, maybe 1 year, 2 years down the lane, you might be able to help them, or they might be able to help you. I find so much value. I don't know if you're a part of any networking groups or anything like that, but there's a couple that I'm a part of. We meet online. Some are Alberta based, some are North America based, and we meet online, and we're just sort of like helping other people with their business, right? Or sometimes when you're a business owner, it's almost like you need this little safe space where you can all say like, oh my goodness, right? Because you can't say that publicly, right?
And
but it's hard sometimes.
Hard. And I think for me too, I always did craft shows all across Canada, and that was always so great because I would be gone quite often, which, I mean, that hard part was being away from my family. But when I was at the shows, you're usually rooming with another handmade business or another business owner, or you're all talking during the day, or you're all going out for supper. And so one of the things I miss most about doing my craft show so much is talking with the other business owners and the other people that are kind of in the same boat. And so that's been a bit hard, but again, you kind of you just have to find your way through it. And so I've been really making an effort. People are always kind of shocked by this, but I am really shy when I'm not like right in my element. So when I'm at craft shows and I'm surrounded by the things I make and what I love to do, it's very easy for me to talk to people. But when I'm not, it's a little bit harder for me. I have like my walls and I get shy. So I've really, since COVID, been making an effort to not do that and to put myself out there, even messaging you about this. I've had a couple meetings with other businesses around town too, and I usually don't consign stuff. And so Exhale Bar Yoga asked if she could consign my products in her shop. And I went and met her, and she's lovely. And now she carries a bunch of stuff in her space and it's doing really well. And so I'm really making the effort to get myself out of my comfort zone, to do those networking things and meet new people. And you kind of have to right now.
Yeah, we're all learning how to do something great. So it's a couple things I want to make sure I get out of what you just said. Number one, who is the yoga place? So everyone could go there or know where to go?
She's a new yoga studio here in Fort McMurray. So she's down, it's called Exhale Yoga Bar. And she's down in that same, behind Staples, where, what is it, Mr. Mike's, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The green building. Cool. Cool. If you're watching Exhale Yoga Bar, please post your link to your page. I'll try and find it too. Please do share where you are. We're excited. We're celebrating businesses. That's awesome. So she has some of your products in there. People could just grab and buy.
Actually has quite a few other local businesses. She's really big on supporting local businesses. So she has some other things in there for people as well too. So, and
Rachel, did I lose you? You cut out for a minute there.
Am I back?
You're back.
Okay.
I was like, oh.
So when I went to meet her, so her studio just opened just a month or so ago, or 2 months ago. She'd actually been planning on opening in March, but she was in Costa Rica in November and came up with the idea for her business plan in Costa Rica as well. So I just thought that was really...
That's really cool. Okay, so business owners, if you haven't been to Costa Rica, or if you're not a business owner, sounds like you need to get your butt to Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, yeah.
Oh, my mother-in-law has been really wanting to go to Costa Rica for the last couple of years, and it was actually on our list for this year, next year. And now I got to move it up, bump it up the list when we're allowed to travel again, because apparently that's the place to get inspiration.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to have to do that. It does look wonderful. I have not been there yet. Awesome. The other thing that I heard you say is like craft markets and stuff. So how is that affecting your business? What are you doing to sort of like pivot in this environment?
So I was really nervous because when everything started with COVID was about March 13th, like in there, middle of March. And so my craft season was actually supposed to start in 2 weeks. So it just snowballed. All the spring shows got canceled. They just started sending out the cancellations for fall. You just can't fit the same amount of people in there. But spring and fall is where my business makes, I'd say 60 to 70% of my income for the year. So spring, I kind of saved myself because I came out with a hand spray, is what I have to call it, but I still have isopropyl alcohol. So that was really great.
And do you have stock on that right now? Like, could people,
Yeah.
there's back to school, people are, you know I'm wanting to add it in my kids'
Yeah,
stuff.
you can. I just make it. So I've got the distilled water, the isopropyl alcohol. It's about, I think I just made the last batch a little bit stronger. So it's about 70% isopropyl alcohol. And then I put a tiny bit of grapeseed oil in it so your hands don't dry out. And then some lavender sage essential oil. So it smells really nice. It's not like drying.
Does it smell like tequila?
Yeah, it does not smell like tequila.
Because like a lot do.
That smell like tequila usually have ethanol in them instead of the isopropyl alcohol. So that's usually, if you get them, that's why they smell like tequila, but they're disgusting. Anyways,
it's like, whoa, tequila. I don't want my kids smelling like tequila. I feel like that's bad.
So doing that right at the start did really help me out. But then the other problem that arose from that was that everybody was trying to make those things. So I luckily ordered enough early to kind of make up for some of my lost sales. But then my bottle suppliers all ran out of packaging. They just got packaging in now. You couldn't get any more alcohol for like 2 months. So then there was that. But then you always have, I could advertise on Facebook. I could do all of these things. And then Facebook blocked my advertising account because their algorithms for people that were advertising like hand sanitizers, masks, because a lot of people were
capitalizing on it, kind of.
Right. Like just, it was awful, but they just have the straight algorithm. So even people that weren't doing that were being blocked. So I actually just got my ad account unblocked last week. It took 5 months for them to answer my appeal.
Whoa, stress on top of stress on top of stress.
But then, I felt like every hurdle and just like forced me to be like, okay, well, what's the next thing? So then I was really started to focus on wholesaling. And so there's some really great kind of third-party wholesale websites where they show your stuff to retailers all across Canada and the US, which is great. So my wholesale's been expanding. I've been really trying to focus, especially on building my business locally as well, too. So that's been a really big deal for me. So again, like networking. I don't know what's going to happen like for the rest of the year. Like, every day I make a plan for what we have to do. I'm always coming up with new products. I think luckily for me, I didn't start this business last year. So a lot of people have been using my stuff from the beginning and they love it and they tell friends about it, which has been really great. But one thing I say, and I started this right from the very beginning of when we started our business, is we started building an email list. So that was really huge for me. That actually made not being able to advertise on social media considerably like less impactful, I guess, because I could still get out my specials, get out my deals to people that I knew were interested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. So a couple things in there that I want to make sure I cover. So first of all, an email list is so important. I'm trying to do a better job of it myself because different people want to communicate different ways. Different people are going to see different things. They might see your ads on Facebook, and then also it gives them more touch points.
Totally.
So that they can communicate with you and get to know you different ways. They continue to see you on Facebook, they see you on Instagram, then they see the email. And so, I read that people need to see you sometimes 5 or more times before they might actually engage with you, right? I know myself even, I'll see stuff pop up on my feed and I'm like, oh, I want to remember that because I'm interested in that product, but maybe I'm not ready right now. So I like it because I know that they're going to advertise to me again if I like it. And I want them to because it's almost a way for me to remember to go back to it because I'm doing something else, but I am interested in your thing. I just can't deal with it in that moment, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Great. What do you use? Do you use a software for your email list or?
I actually really love MailChimp. MailChimp is really great. It's super easy to use. It actually, I don't know what the term is, but it actually works with my website too. So you can, if people have abandoned carts, I can set up emails for all of those things. They actually have a new feature where you can do like a journey. So like you can build campaigns. So you set it up, if somebody signs up, I always have a welcome discounts when people sign up for my newsletter. So if they don't open that, I send them a reminder, and I built this all in there and it tells them what to do. So they'll send a reminder in 3 days. Oh, don't forget to use your code. If they open it, but then they don't use it, it'll send them another email. And so it's really cool that you can set these things up and then the system just automatically sends it. You can do thank you emails when people purchase. I've got it set up for birthday discount codes, and there's all kinds of cool stuff you can do. So I love it. It's just
I love it.
Really easy. And I do like to send out like newsletters once a week as well too. And then another thing I've started doing with that is promoting other local businesses. So usually in my newsletter every week, I pick 3 small businesses, either locally or all across Canada, even a few in the States, and I shout those out as well too. So
I think that's great because sometimes, like some companies send you a bajillion emails and it gets a little bit overwhelming and it's always like selling. I'm like, oh, I don't want to read it. But if it's something that is like a newsletter or has some value added in there, then I want to read it. So then I want to read your newsletter because I want to hear about these cool other businesses that you're supporting, right? And it feels good to be a part of that. It feels good to read that versus some where it's like, they just email me every 3 days, like a new sale. I'm like, this is not a sale. If you have a sale every 3 days, first of all, it's not a sale.
thing that, and I've never wanted it to be super annoying for people either. So I've always, like when people sign up, I'm like, I send you for sure 1 newsletter a week, and then you like reminder emails after that. So
right. Yes. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the balance between the two. So it sounds like you're doing a great job. And then what you also said earlier is, I think such a good thing for all of us, whether we're business owners or not, is you can only control the day. Making sure what are your priorities that you're going to do that day, right? Yeah. What are the things that you're going to accomplish that day? That's all you can control. You can't change yesterday and you can't control what's going to happen tomorrow, but you can seize today, win the day. And then you just build day after day after day, enough winning days. And then you're going to win the big prize, whatever that is, whether that's running your business, managing kids, whether it's, keeping your house clean, whatever it is that you're trying to do. And some of us are trying to do all those things.
Yeah.
Just focus on today.
Yeah.
Or hour by hour. If you got to do hour by hour, go hour by hour. It's almost, just break it down as much as you have to, because you're going to find so much more success and you're going to feel so much more happiness in that, rather than trying to, break yourself down for what you didn't do. Right.
And I think a big thing too, COVID kind of forced my hands with doing craft shows, because I do everything for my business. I don't really have help. I did have help when I was doing lots of craft shows. I would hire people to go, because sometimes I'd have 3 or 4 in a weekend. So I would have people go to different cities and stuff for me.
Right.
But I was really getting burnt out from the 2 years prior for how much I was working, because in between shows I was restocking. Like I was just cranky and miserable, plus then my tax and shipping orders, and it was just so much. So it really forced my hand this year to evaluate like what is really important for me. And I've really been forcing myself, like I make my list, I know what I have to get done every week, but today, like this afternoon, I was feeling really tired. And so I just kind of hung out with the homeschool book I'm reading and took a couple hours before I knew I had to come on the call with you. There's tons of stuff I'm sure I could have done, but you do have to take some time and rest too. Like, it's going to be there.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, so wise, right?
Yeah.
We can only do what we can do, and we have to know when to give ourselves a break, right? And take time for ourselves. And so I think part of that is self-care, and your products help people do that too,
Mhm.
right? And help promote self-care, help promote a different way of living that doesn't necessarily have all of those ingredients in it that people might not want to have. And you said you were a Reiki practitioner too. Are you still doing that, or how does that work with your business? Or
So for a while, a few years ago, I was actually doing sessions for people before this business got really busy. Then I got really busy with this. I wasn't really doing Reiki sessions anymore. But then, interestingly enough, another local lady I met through this whole network of ladies, everything kind of hooks up. We're gonna start doing like energy exchange, like healing circles for people.
yes.
I think we're just starting with like a few people we know, but I think we might talk about potentially like expanding for other people that are interested. When it kind of comes to the energy stuff for me, I just really love to share that with people. And I think that's another thing I really miss about the craft shows is every once in a while you have somebody that comes to you and they're looking at oils and they're looking at these things. And so just naturally you kind of start to talk about that. And so
Yeah.
I would get to share some of that with people just as part of what I do like every day. And I really love it. But I guess the other nice thing about my business is even if you're not into all of those things, it's still, my products are still really accessible. And
Yeah.
it's really funny. My husband works for Suncor. So he's like big oil and gas guy. And so this is usually my office, but he's been using it on days he works from home. And he keeps my little inner wisdom roller. He this by him. And so I'll come in and talk to him some days and he's like stressed out. And I just see him, he just takes a minute and he sits here and he's rolling, he's smelling, and then he gets, and so it's kind of neat to watch that. I mean, he's my husband, so he kind of feels like he probably has to use it, but last few years, like he was never really into any of this stuff, and just kind of slowly he'll grab one thing here, one thing there, and it's kind of neat to see people just take that minute. Like if that forces him to take a minute for himself, then it's so great.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, so many men too are starting this little journey with themselves. It's really fun to see them starting to pamper themselves more and take care of themselves more, because it's important for them too. And they have stress and they have feelings, and it's okay to admit it, and it's okay to take time for yourself too. And it's so important as a family to be able to incorporating that, because kids more and more have anxiety or different things, or maybe now we're just noticing and aware of it more. And so incorporating that as a family and making it a safe thing and a normal thing, like just part of your everyday, this is how we live, this is what we do, we take care of ourselves, right?
Right. My boys have so I make all different kinds of rollers, but I have one for sleep, and so they have them by their beds and they put them on their feet at night. And then I make it's called Root Down, but it's like a natural Tiger Balm or Vicks, so for sore muscles, but it's really good for colds and flus. So whenever they get sick, they're like, Mom, where's the Root Down? Can you put some on our chest and on the bottom of our feet? And it's just really cute that they know to like ask for some of those things as well too for themselves. So it's pretty adorable.
Awesome. It sounds like you have such a variety of stuff for us to check out. So if someone does want to check it out, again, they can go to the yoga place. I wrote it down. It was called Exhale. There's a place in town.
Yeah.
And also you are online, so people are watching from all over, and we definitely want to support you that way. So what is your website for folks that want to connect with you?
So it's BUY, pureessentials.com. For anybody in Fort McMurray, it's free local pickup. Out of town people, it's $10 flat rate shipping, but I do free shipping on all orders over $50 too.
Woo! Awesome. Okay. And be sure to post your link in the comments after this so that people can find you. If you're on Instagram, all those places to find you, we would love to check it out. I know I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm going to look at that hand sanitizer or whatever it is that cleans your hands. Because I don't want my kids smelling like tequila, and I don't think I should smell like tequila. I don't have to go anywhere. No one will know that if I smell like tequila anyways. But certainly I would like my kids to have a choice and not smell like tequila. So I'm going to check that out. And it's been
hand sanitizer. At least I could maybe get away with like a glass of wine during the day, but tequila scented hand sanitizer.
Tequila, like smelling like you've poured it over your body, isn't really for me the desired smell. But hey, we got to do what we got to do. And also, you know, not to be discouraging, but we don't know the effects of some of these sanitizers that we're putting in our hands. Of course, we want to be safe, but is constant application of some of these things coming from, we don't know really where, what is in there, what other chemicals are in there, and we're applying it repetitively on our skin and our children's skin might not necessarily be the thing that we want to do, right? So
actually big recall a month or so ago on a bunch of ethanol based hand sanitizers. So there is like a cosmetic safe ethanol that you can use in them. And that's when I get from my cosmetic supplier. But there was some companies that were using the ethyl alcohol that wasn't cosmetic friendly, and that's actually poisonous to put on the skin. And so there was about 5 or 6 companies that had it all recalled, but people had already been using them for how many months. So
yeah, we're using it and we're putting it on our kids. So not to freak anyone out, you have your own choice, your own research to do. But it is a discussion of you know, what other things are kind of spinning off from the new way of us living, and it's just something for us to be aware of. So I'm glad there's a different option that maybe people can look into. And again, I'm really thankful that you joined us today.
Thankful that you had me.
Hopefully people found value out of it. Hopefully it helps people get connected with some great Canadian made products. This is an important time in our country for us to come together and support each other. We want to be able to have products and services. That's what gives us our community. Those are the things that support our hockey teams and silent auctions and all those things that are so important. So we need to make sure we support them so they could support us. So this week is Canada United. If you're on Twitter and you tweet that, RBC is doing different, like 5 cents, I think they're donating to a business fund every time we tweet that out. So if you're not on Twitter, just go on Twitter to tweet that a couple times. Make RBC spend some money. But more than that is let's bring this into our lives. I know a lot of people are trying to support local and they might not know where to go. So I'm excited for people to see this. Hopefully they can connect with you, and I'm excited to check it out myself. So thank you very much. And I hope you have an awesome day.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was really great to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye, everyone.